Okay. Okay, now. 2 points as appendage to what we already did earlier. 2 points, additional points that I'd like to share with you. One is in this meditation of the awareness of the awareness. Once in a while, you can also bring in this. The sensory consciousness and the mental consciousness. Sensory consciousness and the mental consciousness. How I was sharing with you that the sensory consciousness is so powerful that a mental consciousness will be pulled by the sensory consciousness. An example that we can keep in mind is that in case if there is, say, one blue glass in front of us, blue glass, then the blue glass, along with that, there's a colorless glass. Two things put together. What is the tendency for us to see? To see the blue glass or to see the colorless glass? To see the blue glass. Why? Because the blue glass will override the perception of the colorless glass. Only through very careful observation, then you will see that not only the blue, there's also colorless glass there. So the blue glass is symbolic of the sensory consciousness, and the colorless glass is symbolic of the mental consciousness. So the sensory consciousness can override our meditation. So therefore, every time I was constantly sharing with you that in the meditation, there's a tendency that at one point, sometimes you may get a wonderful experience. Then I could experience something very subtle phenomena, which is the mind. Very subtle phenomena, which is not at all something to be experienced under normal situation. Now I'm experiencing it. And sometimes nothing comes. You're just mental consciousness sings, blends with the sensory consciousness. And whatever your eye consciousness, particularly your eye consciousness, what your eye consciousness is seeing is, you are seeing it. So now, say, only when the blue glass is separated, then you see the colorless glass. Likewise, we should be able to acquire a skill whereby the sensory consciousness is taken away in the mind, in the eyes of your own mind. Mental consciousness, you see only the mental consciousness, which is the colorless, like the colorless glass light. This is one thing that I like to share with you. In this connection, in this so important is that your mind is defined as clear and knowing. Okay, clear and knowing. The question arises. Okay, so these clarifications must be there, without which then you may end up in so much confusion, and then this very precious practice may become useless. Okay, so the question arises that, say, when you are in a very dark room, pitch dark room, okay, when you're in that room, do you have a mind? Do you have a mental consciousness? Mental consciousness is there. Mental consciousness, it never stops. It exists eternally, although momentarily. Although it exists momentarily, but it exists endlessly, and it existed beginninglessly, right? In dark, this mental consciousness, what does it see? It's totally dark. You don't see anything, the mental consciousness. How do you define it as, how would you still qualify that as clear and knowing? Clear. Luminosity. Where's the luminosity? Tell me. Anyone?
Luminosity is not outside in this.
No. What I'm saying, This we have to experience it. How many of you have experienced being in a totally pitch dark room? How many of you have experienced? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, okay, 9, 10, 11, 12, okay. This I would suggest, if there is a possibility, you must experience that. Only if you experience, you will know what I'm saying, right? And so, earlier when I was younger in school, Himachal, Dharamsalam, TCB school, there, when the weather was so clear, and during the the new moon, new moon, when the sky is totally dark, right? And then power cut, totally dark. And then for many years, I did not experience that. Once I was in one, say, eco ashram, and then it was a very isolated place, and I was in a room, suddenly there was power cut, and the room, it was totally dark. And I felt so happy. Now this is what I'm experiencing. Right? We have to experience that. When you experience that, it is totally dark, right? And sensory consciousness, of course, is like blank. Now your mind, you know that it's totally dark. Mental consciousness knows that it is totally dark. So this mental consciousness, how do you define this as clear and knowing? Clear in the context of the luminosity. How do you define that? Anyone? Huh? No, that's a knowledge. Clear and knowing. Knowing is fine. Knowledge is there. Knowledge that it is dark. But the clear, that part, the mind is clear plus the mind is luminous. How the mind is luminous?
Because it is intrinsically luminous that you can see the darkness.
I say it again.
Maybe because there is luminosity, you can see the darkness.
Okay. Good. Anyone else who would like to add to this? Okay, this is...
If you have a dream that same night, then in that dream you will see things very clear.
No, at that point, say, in that dark room, and you are not fallen asleep, you're wide awake. So at that moment, how do you describe this mind as clear, luminous? How do you describe it? Yes, over there?
When it is dark, your mind naturally expects lights to come out.
At that moment, you expect light. I'm not saying expecting, I'm saying at that very moment, when you experience that it's truly dark, how can you describe this mind as luminous? Raviji?
We can actually take an image of rose. We can imagine the rose and do the same meditation on it.
Okay, if you don't meditate, then it's dark.
Yeah.
Okay, if you meditate, then you can define it. Otherwise, you cannot define it. Otherwise, it is not a mind.
Unless the mind meditates on...
No, mind, as I said earlier, keep this in mind. Mind never, mental consciousness, particularly mental, sensory consciousness can stop and arise, there can be gap. Mental consciousness, there is never a gap. Keep this in mind. There is never a gap. Okay, how do you define that as luminous? Yes?
I mean, this might be really wrong, but unless there's darkness, you don't know light, right? So, to know that darkness, you know that there had to have been light.
No. So the point is, we're not talking about light somewhere. We're talking about this very mind, we see in this dark, how this mind is luminous. Very good. Because the darkness is so clearly visible to a mental consciousness. It's so clearly visible. Darkness, you know that it's so dark because the darkness is illuminated as dark. The object which is dark is illuminated as dark. So
That will come under knowing, no?
illuminated as dark and knowing it as dark is two different. Right? You see this is dark or you see this is white. you see this as a dark, right? So which means that for you to see that, to see that there is this luminosity. Luminosity not necessarily the white color, right? It may not be white color. The ways and means by which the object becomes clear to you. Clear to you, and then your job is to see, yes, it is dark. That is the knowing. But the object appears so clear to you that for that luminosity is required, luminosity of the mind, right? Okay, so to see the object as very clearly as dark, very clearly as dark. Okay, this involves a little bit of the nuance. Okay, that's fine. Now the next part, we have like, okay, 2 short sessions. Yes, over there.
Just needed help separating the sensory consciousness from the mental consciousness. You said clearly see dark.
Okay.
I'm unable to understand the separation.
Okay. Clearly seeing the dark as dark. Clearly seeing the dark as dark. So that is done by the sensory consciousness as well as the mental consciousness, right? It is done by both. It is done by both. So you're 100% sure that it is very dark, right? It's not that, okay, I'm a little hazy, I cannot see, so therefore it is dark. Not like this. 100% is dark. It's not my haziness. It is dark there. Object is so dark. So that object appears. Appears means there should be the, not in a literal sense, metaphorically, appears, there should be the appearance, there should be the light there. Not the light in the literal sense, the more metaphorical sense, that there should be some light to make it clearly visible. Clearly visible. What is visible? Not the light is visible, the darkness is visible. Darkness is visible. No, attention. Okay, so say in the psychology, all these words are so well explained. Attention, intention, contact, discrimination, feeling, they are all very clearly defined. Each one of them, there are 5 of them. Attention, then first contact, attention, discrimination, feeling, intention. 5 of them, right? So each of them are so well defined in the Buddhist psychology. Okay, now this is a little digression for us as a part of the clarification. Okay, now what I like all of us to know is that this mind, the mental consciousness, say in your meditation, mental consciousness, the main trend of the practice is what I have already indicated this morning. Once in a while, what you can also do is that, say, in this meditation, and sometimes like this sound. This sound, for your meditation, generally speaking, this sound is fine, this is not a problem. For particularly the meditation on the awareness meditation, say, watch, tablecloth, wall clock, make sure that they are all soundless. They're all soundless. You getting it? They're all soundless. Why? Sound there too. This is a continuous sound, continuous flow of the sound. This is not harmful to the practice. What is harmful is intermittent sounds. Intermittent sounds like tick, 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 tick. These sounds are so disturbing. Particularly when you're doing the awareness of awareness meditation. 1. So all these clocks, if you have, remove. Bring silent clocks. Silent watch, silent clocks, and the tablecloth, wall clock, whatever, it should be the silent one. You know what? Where can we go get those clocks? Huh? Do you know?
Jantar Mantar Gari.
Okay, they are. So you have to get those for sure. You can get them from Bangalore. It is little more expensive. Ordinary tablecloth, if it costs 100 rupees, with the soundless one, it will cost like 200 rupees. It's a little costlier. Okay, one. Next one is, for example, let's see that this paper is moving. This paper is moving, and if I'm meditating here like this, if I'm meditating like this, not only this paper, the cloth is also moving, the paper is also moving. All these physical movements must be stopped. Because what we are meditating on is a very subtle object, and these are very gross. The gross will always override the subtle ones. So, your meditation is going to be just disrupted. Make sure that no external movements are happening, including the cloths, the fan, and even the shadow of the fan. If the fan is right over there, you are not going to see this, but you may see the shadow. The shadow, it can be disturbing. If the shadow is static is fine. But if it is, you could see the movement of the shadow there, that is very destructive, right? So no physical, external, the visual movements, and no sound movements. Meaning intermittent sounds, no intermittent sounds. Tick, 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 tick. And then even sometimes the refrigerators, they make sounds, right? One is very consistent sound, and sometimes dictate. So these are very adverse to meditation. So always keep these in mind. Okay, now with this, what do you do? Once in a while, okay, let's say, because there is a daylight, your eye consciousness is having the input of the visual light. Because of this, because of the lightness, because of the visual lightness to your sensory consciousness, that affects the mental consciousness. So mental consciousness also is visually, it has a, say, lightness there. Okay, now do it. Just observe it. Your mental consciousness, just observe your mental consciousness. What is it like? It is dark or is it like light? Just observe it. Okay, now close your eyes and observe it. Okay, now open your eyes again, observe the same mind. Same mental consciousness. Now close your eyes and observe it. Okay, tell me the difference. What's the difference? Do you see a difference? Anyone? Raise your hands. Yes?
I felt when I'm closing my eyes, the luminosity is more, it's
What?
brighter.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
interesting.
And when I'm opening it, I can see it like bright, but it's like when I close it, it gets brighter.
Wow. Okay, anyone else? Yes?
When closing the eyes, it feels heavy.
Okay, with closing eyes, it is a little heavier. It envelops your mind. Yes, Jesse?
Yeah, it's the opposite of what Rashmi said. When I close my eyes, the luminosity reduces. The mental image or picture what I visualize. So when I keep my eyes little open, it's brighter.
Oh, keeping your eyes, then it becomes brighter.
Yeah.
Eyes open.
Yeah.
Eyes closed?
Close, it becomes little dark.
Okay, it becomes a little dark.
The luminosity.
Shweta?
Yes, it was like day and night. With my eyes open, it was
Okay,
transparent.
open your eyes, the mental consciousness is like in the daytime.
Yes, like
You close your eyes, it's in the nighttime.
Yes.
Very good. Anyone else? Yes, Anita?
When I open my eyes, it's like, it's not dark, but it's not light either.
It is a little hazy like?
Yeah, yeah. And
Okay.
when I close it, I can see kind of remnants of that daylight in the darkness.
Okay. So in fact, your name?
Rashmi.
Rashmi. What Rashmi said can also be very true. What others said is also very true. Generally speaking, what others said is true. In rare cases, in rare cases, what Rashmi said is true. Rare cases. For example, say, close eyes, and then say the light, the unusual light can come to you sometimes, right? So we never know what our past imprints are, and within this very lifetime, depending on the external factors, difference in external factors, things can happen like this. This is also one thing which we cannot deny. But generally speaking, the moment you close your eyes, it becomes dull. So the dullness is one thing, and the object-wise, the mind is very subtle too, right? Then can easily go into the, say, either no object at all, either like a sleep, very passive mind. It can turn very passive. One, because already with dull means my mind becomes already passive. Plus the object is very subtle. You will not find the object. When you don't find the object, say which hand is more the alert and at grip. Say if there's an object to grab at it, for example, say like this, grab like this, right? And then when there's no object, when is the hand more active? When there's an object to grab at. So when the mind, because the mind is so subtle, the moment you go to close your eyes, when you close your eyes, the dullness sinks in. When the dullness sinks in, then the object, which is so subtle, will instantly run away. So the mind does not have the object. When it does not have the object, it becomes even more passive. Then it can slide into inactivity of the mind and sleep. Okay, this is very dangerous. And if you stay in this experience for long, it's so dangerous. Right? Therefore, one thing is, make sure that you keep your meditation with eyes open. Right? Okay. Now, what Rashmi said, that with eyes open, with eyes closed, it becomes even brighter. It can happen once in a while. But if it does happen almost like every time, then you must have to, if you want to do the meditation on this, with the three conditions intact. What are the three conditions intact?
Body posture.
Breathing meditation.
Breathing meditation, expertise in the breathing meditation, then psychology, study of the Buddhist psychology, number 2, and the emptiness meditation. Emptiness, when these three things are intact, and at least if you want to activate the subjective clear light, then 2 things must be there. Some degree of expertise in the breathing meditation and Buddhist psychology. With these 2 things intact, then you are entitled to do the meditation to activate the subjective clear light. So if you are keen on this, and if it is case that when you close your eyes and then it becomes even brighter, you must meet with your teacher for further discussion, right? Because that needs to be addressed very seriously. Whereas for others, when you close the eyes, then it becomes more little dull and dark and like enveloped, become more heavy, right? When that happens, then it's very simple. Just continue meditation with the instructions given. Okay. Now with this, what I'd like to share with you is that, tell me, say I have one glass, and tell me what is the color of this glass. What is the color of this glass?
What glass do you have?
Huh?
Which glass?
Huh?
What glass do you have?
Exactly. Which glass? What glass do you have? Right? Very good. Okay, I'm just seeing whether you react spontaneously or you react randomly without thinking. Okay. My question is that I have a glass. And you tell me what the color of the glass is. I'm not going to say anything about the color of my glass, but I'll give you clues, and you tell me what's the color of my glass. Say, your name? Rani has, say, the blue glass, and I put this glass with Rani's glass, and you see it perfectly blue. Then Giri has a yellow glass, then I put it with the Giri's glass and it is perfectly yellow. Then see Abid has a brown tainted glass and I put it with it and it becomes perfectly brown. Tell me what's the color of my glass?
Colorless.
Huh?
Colorless.
It's a colorless glass. Very good, it's colorless. Now tell me what is the color of your mind? Say, what's the color of your mind? Your mind, right? When you meditate like this, with the eye open for the general, not for Rashmi exception, right? Okay, for others, right? So when it's with your eyes open, you see that your mental consciousness is white or is light, bright. And then you close the eyes. It becomes a little dark. And then when the outside is totally pitch dark, with the eyes closed, eyes open, there's no difference. It's totally dark, mental consciousness, totally dark. Now tell me, what is the original color of this mental consciousness? It's colorless. You getting it? The true color of this mental consciousness is colorless. It's so subtle, so subtle. You getting it? These are the clues which you can once in a while apply in a meditation, that this mind which I'm observing, okay, is so bright, it's not dull. So it assumes different colors, right? Now the true nature of this, the true color of this my mind, which is like a glass, this is purely colorless. One. Now, say, the second point that I'd like to share with you is that by observing this mental consciousness, keep observing this consciousness, it is like stilling the mind, stilling the water inside the glass, stilling. And what happens? As you keep stilling this, what happens? The dirt will become more and more settled and the water will become more and more clean. You getting it? Okay. With this what happens, as you keep stilling this, the mind which was which is so turbulent, it becomes more and more calm, Okay. Now, in the context of the mind, as the turbulence stops, this is known as the mind becoming subtler. The mind becomes subtler. You're getting it? As the turbulence becomes less and less, the mind becomes subtler and subtler. Finally, what happens? Naturally, if you keep observing this mind, then the turbulence will stop altogether. So there the mind assumes the subtlest form. Okay. When the mind assumes the subtlest form, the mind has a tremendous power. The light, this light that we have now, this light deviated, scattered, this light does not have the capacity, the power to burn the papers. When this light is channelized with the help of the magnifying glass, the channelized version of this light has the power to burn the papers. You agree with me? Yes. Okay. Likewise, the mind, when it becomes subtler, it becomes channelized. As it becomes more and more channelized, then mind, what happens? The gross minds will stop. Like all the sensory minds will stop. All the sensory consciousness will stop. Only the subtle one, when it gets manifested, the gross ones will stop. When the gross one stops, the mind becomes channelized. When it becomes very channelized, it has a tremendous power. Just by focusing your mind at the different spots, it has the capacity to change your physiological constructs. Physiological constructs of the body can be changed because of the thinking. And it can go to the extent of even simply by focusing, you have the capacity to change the external objects. You can move the external objects from distance. You will reach that power, right? There, for example, if the one indication said in the text is that if there is an apple growing there on the tree, simply by your concentration, you can unplug the apple. Not only plug it from distance. From distance, just look at it, and you can plug the apple. Not only plug the apple, you can fix it back. You can fix it back. Simply through the concentration. Concentration, you can fix it back, right? So, when the mind becomes so concentrated, so channelized, the mind has a tremendous power. Okay, so now let's say, with this, say, on a standard, on an average level, you gain some understanding or some experience of this mind. Still not the subjective clear light, but this is an ongoing process. It's an ongoing process, and you continue doing the meditation. Then say, if you are keen on this practice, what I would suggest is that make sure that you do this. Okay, I'm not too much encouraging, but amongst this number of people, if there are 2 or 3 who are really interested to do this practice, one, you must make sure that you get a very clear instruction. 1. Number 2, it should be consistent. And don't be impatient. Be very patient, and there must be consistency. Say, if you want to do it for like 5 minutes a day, keep it consistent 5 minutes. And then depending on the, say, the time, the rigor, intensity, so forth, if you make it like 10 minutes, make it 10 minutes consistently, and see to the improvement. Now, in the process of your development of this meditation, say, in its most refined form, you reach the level of the subjective clear light. That is the most refined form. But before that, it's not that you do it and then in two weeks' time you'll experience it. No, it will not happen. So in the process, there's a constant, say, the development happening. There's constant improvement happening. So with this, every day what you should be doing then, when you do this for like 10 minutes, after the end of this 10 minutes, then you combine this with the objective clear light. What is objective clear light? What is the objective clear light? Okay, after lunch. What's the objective clear light? Emptiness of the mind, or the ultimate reality of the mind, is the objective clear light. So the Buddha, Arya Maitreya, they all unanimously said that the best meditation on the emptiness, the best of the meditation on emptiness, to eradicate the mental defilements, the most powerful meditation on emptiness is a meditation on the emptiness of the mind. We can meditate on the emptiness of many other things. For example, say, if I'm say more addicted to the juice, then I may meditate on emptiness of the juice, right? And then if I'm more I have, say, narcissism, a special affinity, attachment to the self, then I can meditate on emptiness of the self, right? Self. And then the Buddha, compassionate Buddha and Arya Maitreya, what they unanimously say is that of all these meditations on the emptiness of different objects, the one which is most efficient is the meditation on the emptiness of the mind, particularly the mental consciousness, emptiness of the mental consciousness. This is the most effective, most powerful wisdom of emptiness to counteract the mental defilements. Okay, keeping this in mind, we're going to now say that you have already meditated for like 10 minutes. Okay, don't do it for too long. This meditation, don't do it for too long. From this group, if there are 1 or 2 persons who like to do it, as I said earlier, make sure that you get a very the 2 conditions intact, and then you want to do it, then make sure that you get a very clear instruction. Then say, duration wise, make it short, don't make it too long. First make it like 5 minutes, not longer. Then when you are quiet, you get some command over the 5 minutes easily, and you can maintain the focus for 5 minutes. You can extend to like 10 minutes and keep it for some time. Okay. Now with this said, now you are every day doing this. You're doing this. So thus far we reached what? Okay, tell me, what are the 6 points? First one is separating the sensory consciousness and the mental consciousness. Number 2, grabbing or the apprehending the mental consciousness. Awareness.
Abiding the awareness of
awareness.
manifesting the subject of their life.
Maintaining the awareness of awareness. Then
Manifesting
realization of objective clear light. And you can, the 6th one, 6 and 7 you can combine, or you can make it just 6, or you can make it 7. 7 is blending the two, union of the two. Union. 6th one is the realization of the objective clear light, and then this 7th one is the blending, bringing the unity of the objective and the subjective clear light. Okay, so now what we do is that out of this, when you reach that level, okay, 10 minutes, say you are meditating 10 minutes on this awareness. Okay, then you get the very subtle phenomena, which is actually mental consciousness. You experience that. Still, it is in the turbulent state. It's not in the clear light state. Clear light state is a very subtle version which you could accomplish, which is a great accomplish in true sense. Okay. Now, here you're going to start. Before you stop it, then you go to number 6. Number 6 is the realizing the objective clear light. Realizing objective clear light. Okay. Objective clear light is the emptiness of the mind. Emptiness of the mind. In the loose sense, emptiness of any object can be called as objective clear light. Precisely, emptiness of the mind is known as the objective clear light. Okay. Now the next point is how to see the emptiness of your mind. How to see the emptiness of the mind. You're getting it? Okay. This is so important. This is so important. Okay, how many of you are totally new to Choe Ling? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, there's several of you. How many of you are totally new to the Buddhist concept of emptiness? How many of you are totally new to the Buddhist concept of emptiness? Raise your hands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. So here, okay. So now, tomorrow we have from 4 to 8, 5:30 to 5:30 to 8. Okay. I think meditation part we can do it tomorrow, right? Okay. Today we'll do the explanation. Now the emptiness, objective clear light, emptiness in general, and then emptiness of the mind. Two things: emptiness in general and emptiness of the mind. First, emptiness in general, particularly for those, of course, for all of us, including myself, and precisely for those of us who are new to this concept. Emptiness in general. When you speak about emptiness, there's a danger that people can easily misunderstand it to mean it as nothingness. Not only with ordinary people, even some of the professors, highly respected professors, even they tend to make such mistakes, saying that, oh, Buddhism does not accept anything. In Buddhism there's nothing there. Anatma, selflessness, no self exists, nothing exists. This is a total misconception. It's a big blunder, right? So, because what they're trying to say is they are trying to talk about emptiness. Emptiness, keep in mind that emptiness to really understand what emptiness is, rather than a vague understanding of what you get from reading the books. Emptiness, to really understand this, we need to know the 5 points. 5 points. 5 points. Number 1, emptiness. Emptiness. Emptiness, what? Emptiness, it does not mean nothingness. It is a short form of emptiness of independent existence. Emptiness is not nothingness. It is a short form of emptiness of independent existence. Okay, number 1, emptiness. Number 2 is the short form of emptiness of objective independent existence. Number 2. Emptiness of independent existence means there is no independent existence. Emptiness of independent existence means, number 3, emptiness of independent existence means there is no independent existence. Number 3, there is no independent existence. Number 4, there is no independent existence means all existences are by, hey,
Inherent.
okay, just try to understand how I'm implying, right? Don't try to use your own earlier rich philosophy learning, right? Just try to bring in what I'm trying to imply. Okay, what is point 1? Emptiness. Point 2, emptiness means emptiness is the short form of emptiness of independent existence. Point number 3,
There is no independent.
emptiness of independent existence means there is no independent existence. Number 3. Number 4, there is no independent existence means all existences are by dependence. Very good. Okay. Okay. All existences are by dependence. What is this? Number 4. Okay. All existences are by dependence means dependent origination. Things originate by dependence. Dependent origination. These 5 points we must keep in mind. Okay, what is number 1? Emptiness. Number 2, emptiness of independent existence. What is number 3? There is no independent existence. Now what is number 4? All existences are by dependence. What is number 5? Dependent origination. Very good. Okay. If you know these 5 points, now you will move to the next point. So from these 5 points, we come to know that emptiness and dependent origination, these two are the two sides of the same coin. They mean the same. Emptiness and dependent origination. Okay. Emptiness means, right? Emptiness means emptiness of independent existence. Number 2. Emptiness of independent means there is no independent existence. There is no independent existence means all existences are by dependence. All existences are by dependence means dependent origination. A equals B, B equals C, C equals D, D equals E, E equals F. This implies that A equals F, right? Likewise, from this, emptiness equals dependent origination. Equals means these two are not synonymous. These two are the two sides of the same coin. Don't forget it. I'm using this word, two sides of the same coin. Okay. Yet I said these two are not synonymous. Equals means that you can derive emptiness to understand dependent origination. Okay. Now from this, we will learn something very important. Emptiness, from these 5 points, we learn that emptiness means dependent origination. You getting it? Dependent origination. Now, dependent origination means the middle way. Dependent origination means the middle way. Middle way. How is dependent origination middle way? Dependent origination, how many sides are there? Dependence and, hey, dependent origination, how many sides are there? Dependence and origination. 2 sides are there. When you say dependence, what is the opposite of dependence? Independence. When you say dependence, you reject independence. Independence, absolutism, these two mean the same. Independence, absolutism, they mean the same. When you say dependent origination, the first one, dependent, it rejects absolutism, extreme of absolutism. You getting it? Number 2, what is number 2? Origination. Origination means something comes into origination. Something comes to the existence. Yes, no? When you say something comes to the existence, what is the opposite of existence?
Non-existence.
What is the opposite of existence?
Non-existence.
Non-existence or nihilism. Right? So when you say origination, it rejects non-existence or it rejects nihilism. You're getting it? So dependent origination has 2 sides. First, dependence, the first part, dependence, it rejects the extreme of absolutism. The second part, which is origination, it rejects the extreme of nihilism. Now combined together, dependent origination combined together rejects the 2 extremes. Extreme of absolutism, extreme of nihilism. Rejecting the 2 extremes is following the middle way. Right? So therefore, dependent origination means the middle way. From this we said that emptiness means dependent origination. Dependent origination means the middle way. By default we come to know that emptiness means the middle way. Emptiness is not nihilism. Emptiness is the middle way. You getting it? This is so important. This is so important. We must not forget it. Okay, now okay, so with this understanding, let me quickly take you to this understanding. Okay, what is in my hand?
Flower.
Okay. Now let's say Giri and Giri's line until Dilshad-ji, Anita-ji. Okay, so this group is Tenzila also, group A, this is group A. And then Rani, okay, Shabira, then Ratnagarji, then Pebalam, Ravi. Okay, so this line is group B. So group A, group B. You getting it? Okay. Hey, group A, what do you see?
Flower.
Group B, what do you see? Hey, group B. Okay. Now, let's say that group A looks at the flower through your naked eyes. Group B looks at this flower through your electron microscope. Group B looks at it through electron microscope. Group A looks at it through naked eyes. Right? Okay. Group B, what do you see? You see the electrons, protons, neutrons, and so forth through electron microscope. Okay. Now, I ask you the second question. Where is the flower? What happens to the flower? Hey, group B.
Not seen.
Disappears.
Flower disappears. Very good. Flower is empty. Flower is not there. You getting it? Hey, group A. What are you seeing?
Flowers.
Okay. Now I'm not going to move the flower at all. I'm just going to keep it static here. Hey, group A. What are you seeing?
Flower.
Group B. What are you seeing? Emptiness of the flower. The flower disappears. Hey, group A, what are you seeing?
Flower.
Flower. Group B, what are you seeing? Emptiness of the flower. Okay. Now, where is Heart Sutra?
Page number 9.
Page number, turn to page 8. Page 7 is where we begin the Heart Sutra. Page 8 is which I like to read, which we like to learn. Okay, what is the first line?
Form is empty.
Form is empty. What is next? Emptiness of form. What is next? Emptiness no other than form. What is next? Form is also not other than emptiness, right? This is the essence of the Heart Sutra. This is the essence of the Heart Sutra. Heart Sutra itself is the essence of all the teachings of the Buddha. Within this Heart Sutra, these 4 lines are the essence of the Heart Sutra. Okay. What is mean? How many of you have read this so many times? Form is empty, emptiness is form. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, most of you. Okay. Say, group A, what do you see?
Flower.
Flower. Group B, what do you see? Emptiness of the flower. What group A sees as a flower is what is seen empty by group B. Emptiness of flower by group B. What group A sees as a physical form is seen as empty by group B. Form is emptiness. What is first line?
Form is empty.
Form is emptiness. So what group A sees as a form is seen as empty by group B. What group B sees as empty is seen as form by group A. What is the second line?
Emptiness is
Emptiness form. What group B sees as emptiness is what group A sees as a form. Emptiness is form. Okay. Are you two looking at the same object or you are looking at two different things? You are looking at the same object, but the description is different. One says that there is a flower, one says there is no flower. These two are contradictory. You getting it? These two are contradictory. Which is correct?
Both are correct.
Both are correct. Both are correct, but these two are contradictory. How can two contradictory things both be correct? This is the question. Okay, for that matter, emptiness, what are the two sides of the same coin? Emptiness and dependent origination. So when group A sees this as a form or a flower, you are seeing the dependent origination. By dependence on the color, by dependence on the shape, by dependence on the distance, by dependence on your naked eyes, you see this as a flower, right? You are seeing the dependent origination. Now what they are seeing is the emptiness side. Dependent origination and emptiness are the two sides of the same coin. Is it the same coin or different coin? Same object. Same object, you are seeing the two sides. One, you are seeing the dependent origination, other you are seeing the emptiness. You are getting it? So dependent origination and emptiness, these are the two sides of the same coin. What is the same? What is that same coin? The metaphorical, in this case, the flower. Flower is what is represented by the coin. And the two sides are represented by form, dependent origination, and the emptiness. You are getting it? Okay, this is so important. Now, what is the benefit? So say, if I say that, okay, what are you drinking? Okay, let's say, this one. What am I drinking? What am I drinking?
Water.
Some say you are drinking water, some say you are drinking H2O, and some say you are drinking electrons, protons, neutrons, right? And which of the three answers is correct? All three are correct. Okay, now you say, what am I drinking?
Water.
Some say you are drinking water, some say you are drinking milk. Which is correct, which is wrong?
Water is correct.
You are drinking water is correct, but you are drinking milk is wrong. You are right? Okay. So in one case, although the answers are contradictory, still we can say both are correct. In some cases, answers are contradictory, we say one is wrong. And then we say, group A says you are drinking tea, group B says you are drinking milk, which is correct?
Both are wrong.
Both are wrong. Right? In some cases, answers can both contradictory answers, both are wrong. In some cases, contradictory answers, one is correct, one is wrong. In some cases, contradictory answers, both are correct. You getting it? Okay. Why did you say that when I'm doing this, some say I'm doing water, some say I'm doing milk. Why did you say that I'm doing milk is wrong? Why do you say this?
There's no essence of milk in that water.
Huh?
Clear and milk
Yeah.
has a color and this is clear.
Okay.
Water is a property of being clear, so you can recognize it as that.
Okay.
There is no milk there. Yeah.
So milk, if there is a milk, if there is a milk, Giri has a proper eyesight and he should be able to see this, but he's not seeing this. Instead he's seeing a clear water. A clear water cannot be a milk cannot be a clear water. Whereas a clear water can be made of electrons, protons. What is made of electrons, protons can be a clear water. There's no contradiction. Although, when you see this, I'm drinking water, I'm drinking electrons, protons. What is the water? Water is empty. Water disappears. Still, there's no contradiction. Why? Which of the two perceptions is more refined? Seeing, drinking water, seeing, drinking electrons, protons. Which is more refined?
Electrons, protons.
Drinking electrons, protons is, their perception is more refined. You're getting it? So the subject which views the object, there's a difference. One is subtle and one is gross. Right? One is subtle and one is gross. One which is subtle, this is known as the subject, the mind of the ultimate analysis. The subtle mind is known as the mind of the ultimate analysis. And the other one is known as the mind of the conventional analysis. Mind of the conventional analysis. You getting it? Mind of the conventional analysis and mind of the ultimate analysis. Okay, say, when you see through electron microscope, what am I doing again?
Water. Oh, electrons,
Electrons,
protons.
protons, neutrons. So what is the difference between the electrons, protons, the electrons of the water and the electrons of the milk? What's the difference? Huh? Electrons.
I'll go with whatever you say.
I'm not asking the number. I'm saying that what is difference in the electron? No difference. What is difference in the protons? No difference. Neutrons? No difference. You getting it? There's no difference. But when I drink one kind meaning one, people say that I'm doing water. Then the other, same electron with no difference in the nature, people say that I'm doing milk. Right? What makes you think that one is drinking milk while it's the same thing, electrons, protons, so forth? Why you are described as drinking water when it is electrons, protons, same thing? Why? Huh?
They are said together as different.
They
Their
are
structure is
combined in
different.
different structures.
Because the combination is different. Combination is different. If the combination is different, but it's still the electrons, protons, neutrons, right? But why should we see this as milk? Why should we see one as water? Huh? No, the constituent is just the same. Constituent is just the same.
The color is
When you
different.
go to the electron at the level of the electron, it's just the same.
The physical
Electron
appearance is different.
That is subtler.
Appearance is different. Appearance is different. Appearance is different. Right? Appearance is on the object or the subject? Appearance is on the object or subject?
Object.
Okay, how many of you have seen rainbow? How many of you have never seen rainbows? Unfortunate guys. Anyone who has never seen rainbows? In Bangalore, where does the rainbow happen? Where does it happen?
Across the flyovers.
Where? I'm not asking when. I'm not asking.
Sky.
I'm asking. I'm just checking if the Bangalore, particularly Choe people, they have a proper ear sight. Ear, right? My question is not when.
Where?
My question is where.
Sky.
Where does that? Where? Which direction? East, west, north, south.
Any direction.
Any direction. Opposite to the sun, right? Okay. Let's say where? On the house or in the sky?
Sky.
Not on the house.
Actually, it's in the atmosphere.
It could be in the sky.
Huh?
It could touch also the land.
See it because of the light of
No, this is not my question. My question is why are we seeing this? This is my question. Choe, so many people, either something's wrong with them, there's something wrong.
We're just scared to be very honest.
I once saw it in the Lal Bagh. It was on the mountain there. It was
on the mountain.
It was on the land, going from the land to sky again to the land.
Okay, land, sky to land. Okay, let's see. Okay, you see this. Now tell me, this rainbow, let's say we are seeing this rainbow shooting from the land into the sky like an arrow, like a bow, shooting from the land, then in the sky, then on the land back. Okay, let's say this is what we are seeing, right? So that land, where is that land? It is 1 kilometer away from us. Let's say. Tell me. You see, we are all seeing it now. Tell me, the rainbow, that rainbow, does it exist or not? My question is, rainbow, this rainbow, does it exist or not?
Yes. Yes, it exists.
My question is yes, no.
Yes.
It exists.
As a rainbow, as what we...
I do not ask anything. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. I just asked whether the rainbow exists.
Yes.
Yes. If it does exist, where does it exist? 1 kilometer away?
We can't keep going 1 kilometer, you'll never get to the rainbow.
Where does it exist is my question.
In our perception. It exists in the
Raise your
subject
hand, raise your
side.
hand, raise your hands. Yes, Tisagaji.
Ultimately, all existence or
This is not my question. I'm not talking about ultimately. I'm talking about where does it exist. Raise your hands only if you are confident in your answer. Only if you can say that it exists there. Yes, Rashmi?
It exists in my perception.
Okay, it exists my perception. 1. You may not agree, it doesn't matter. Yes, Giri?
It exists, right, like
1 kilometer away. Over there?
it can exist anywhere between the earth and the sun, until the clouds.
Say it is 1 kilometer away from us. This is where we are seeing. So where does the rainbow exist?
Not 1 kilometer away from the earth.
Then it is before that.
Anywhere at a certain distance, let us say 100-200 meters above the earth, until the clouds.
So let's say the supposition that we are making is that we are seeing this rainbow hitting a house. Hitting a house. That house is exactly 1 kilometer away from us. Now tell me, where does this rainbow exist? Here?
It's like a mirage. It doesn't actually exist. It's what we see, what we perceive. It's actually...
Okay, you are saying it does not exist.
I mean...
Does it exist or not?
It is a conventional...
Does it exist or not? This is my question.
She said it exists about 5 minutes ago. No, she's saying it doesn't exist.
Yeah, but it's like the mirage.
Does it
The
exist
mirage
or
also
not?
exists.
No. Does it exist or not? If it exists, the next question, where?
I
Okay,
would say that
here?
it doesn't exist.
You just said it.
It exists where?
Yeah, but like the mirage.
In the air. Further away from 1 kilometer or closer than 1 kilometer or right at 1 kilometer? Right at 1 kilometer. Two of you are saying. Okay, Ravi?
It exists as a subtle form of 7 colors.
I said
Okay, does it exist?
Yes, it exists.
It exists as a beautiful rainbow. Where does it exist? 1 kilometer away? Or before 1 kilometer?
1 kilometer away.
1 kilometer. Three of you saying. Yes, over there.
Nobody's telling
Huh?
us.
It does not exist. Okay. So if you take a photograph, it will not come out. If you take a photograph,
It will come.
does it capture or not? Capture means it exists. Okay, you take a photograph and I'll show you. You take a photograph and I'll show you the pink flower. Okay, here, pink flower. Right? There's no pink flower there. I'm saying that there's a pink flower there. You take a photograph. Photograph, will it capture the pink flower? No. Why not? There's no pink flower here. If it doesn't exist, how can it be captured by the camera? So as the rainbow can be captured by the camera. Huh? No, that formation is known as the rainbow. That formation is known as, that formation exists, right? Formation exists. No, formation, does it exist or not? What you call as a formation, does it exist? Okay, Why all these problems are happening? Some say it does not exist, some say it exists. Where does it exist? It is here, it is there. Why this? Okay, this flower exists or not?
Yes.
Where does it exist?
In your hand.
Okay, this is, you are all united. There's a consensus there. Why? Because this is uncontroversial. Whereas the rainbow, it becomes very controversial. Right? There's disagreement. Clarity is not there. Now tell me, did you ever see a mirage?
Yes, the rainbow is like the mirage.
Did you ever see a mirage?
Yes.
Did you ever see the mirage as water?
Yes.
Okay.
Not really.
Yes.
You go to it, it doesn't exist.
My question is, did you ever see a mirage as water and confused as water?
Yes.
Yes.
On the road.
So this water, which you saw as water, where did it exist?
In my perception.
Just in your perception. That is very clear, right?
No,
That we-
it existed, but not exactly 1 kilometer away. That
no,
is,
I told you.
no, because of rainbow, you were saying 1 kilometer.
Listen, have a sharp ear. Choe should have a sharp ear.
Yeah, I got long ones, but
No, the ear, what I'm saying, just listen to what I said. I said, the mirage, seeing the mirage as water. My question was, where was this water?
yeah, it is not there.
It is not there. But you saw this.
Yeah, because it is somewhere.
This water which you were seeing on the base of the mirage.
That water is
There's
there.
water there. It is deceptive. But you saw something. Where was this water?
In my perception.
Just in your perception. You getting it?
Yes.
With the rainbow, it is a little complicated. Some say it is there, some say it is here. With the seeing the mirage as water, and you think that there's water there. Where is this water which you saw? Later on, you'll discover it is coming from it came from a mind. You getting it? Okay. Now, tell me, Group A, what are you seeing?
Flower.
Flower. Group B, what are you seeing? Emptiness of the flower. You getting it? Okay. Tell me, Group A, Group B, you are seeing the emptiness of the flower. Group B, you are seeing the flower. Group A, you are seeing the flower. Why Group B is not seeing a flower? Why?
Because they're having refined vision.
Huh?
Because we are seeing it under a microscope.
We are seeing into the minute things. When you see the minute things, why should the flower not be seen?
Because you're not seeing the
Cells,
flower.
Huh?
and
But when you're not seeing the flower in centrality.
Why not?
Because of microelectron, you only said electron microscope, you go deeper into it and you see photons.
No, this is what I told you, and you did it. But I never justified myself. I never gave any justification to say that why you are not seeing the flower is because you are seeing the electrons. This is never what I said. I said that, did you see the flower? You said no. Because you don't see the flower, what happened to the flower? You said it's empty. So you are seeing the emptiness of the flower. This much is what I said. I did not justify anything. Now I'm asking, why to all of you? Why Group B is not seeing a flower?
You're doing ultimate analysis and flower does not exist ultimately.
As you get closer,
You get
The
it.
different parts of
As you go closer towards the object, you magnify this, then the flower does not appear. Why not?
But what you're seeing now is different.
because now you're seeing each
What you're seeing is
element of
different.
the
You're not
flower.
If you see
You're
the-
not seeing the flower.
If you see each element of the flower, why not you see the flower?
Because each
Huh?
It's too big.
See, still, even this, for example, say, are you seeing this hall or not?
Yes.
You are seeing this hall. You are seeing the individual parts also,
Yes.
right? Simply because you see the individual parts doesn't mean that you should not see the whole.
Yeah.
You're getting it?
Yes,
If it
yes.
does, then tell me, which are you seeing? You are seeing the individual parts of this hall or you are seeing the whole?
No, but if
Which? Tell me.
I'm looking at a direction, then I will see an individual part.
No, tell me. Are you seeing this wall or not? Are you seeing this wall? Are you seeing the individual parts like the thanga, the frames, these things? We're seeing both, individuals as well as the
Yes. But I'm
The
not
whole.
seeing behind me.
This is not my question. My question is the wall and the individual parts of the wall. Are you seeing both or you are seeing just one? Okay. So when you see the whole, it doesn't mean that you don't see the individuals. When you see the individuals, it doesn't mean that you are not seeing the whole. You're getting it? My question is, when you see the parts of the flower, atoms, electrons, so forth, why don't you see the flower? Is my question.
Because there's separate parts which make it.
Huh?
You're so close.
Huh?
Close that you can't see it.
It's not different.
Like if I look at something so close.
If you're so close, why don't you see the flower then?
You have to zoom out and see.
Because that's it.
Okay, when you zoom out, why do you see the flower?
I can see the whole, it as a whole. And, I see that, I mean, yeah, we
Okay.
know that as a
Because it
flower,
is close,
maybe.
there is no
Very good, very good. You are attempting. This attempt is so
This
precious.
is fragmented. Will we get into an
Microscope,
It is fragmented.
Correct.
fragmented.
It is
Even
not-
these parts are also fragmented, right? Okay. The point is, we are always saying, "I see the flower. I don't see the flower. I see the flower. I don't see the flower. I perceive the flower. I don't see. I perceive the flower. I perceive the flower. I don't perceive the flower." We are always talking about the perception. Yes, no. Perception is taking place where?
In the mind.
The
Mind.
subject, the mind. You getting it? Okay. So, let's say that when you look at this flower, when you look at this flower, group A, you see this as a flower. Group B sees this as the emptiness flower. In other words, the flower disappears. Group B, for group B, it disappears. You getting it? Okay. Now with this, now imagine that, say, the flower, this flower, okay, this is this nice flower, beautiful flower. Say, you look at it, and it's very appealing. Then you see on the atomic level, what happens to the appeal? Appeal disappears. You're getting it? Appeal disappears. So, is this because object disappears or because the perception changes?
Perception changes.
Very good. Very good. So the flower, which affects my appeal, which affects my emotional setting, is actually done by the perception, not the object per se. Object remains the same. You agree with me or not?
Yes.
It's just a perception. So this perception of the flower comes only when you look at it from distance. You agree with me or not? When you look at it very closely, the perception of the flower disappears. A different perception comes. What is that different perception comes?
Electrons.
Perception of the emptiness of the flower comes. Then the early emotional state, appeal disappears. You getting it? Okay, now tea break, short tea break.
That way even that rainbow
tell us
is
about the
based on
Short
the subject.
tea break.
Tell us about it.
Even the...
Rainbow.
Yes, very good. Short tea break.
You know whether you see the rainbow.
Thank you, Dorji.